So I guess this part is mainly I guess this part is mainly inspired by consuming data. Um, I have a hero of mine. His name is Hans Rosling. He passed away. He was a Swedish statistician. I guess he's most famous because he went on TED to expose to the world that things have been improving a lot everywhere, like poverty and inequality and health, general health, extreme conditions, except for the fact maybe of slavery that didn't did I mean in percentual numbers is dropped significantly, of course, but in absolute numbers is going up still. I guess except for slavery, he argues that Hans Rosling does, and you can watch his TED Talk videos. I can link I can link them down here. I guess and I guess he's right. There's not much that we can say has not improved during the last, let's say, 100 years or something like that, 150 years. And he's a hero of mine because he's really good at communicating. He's really good at communicating. He's a fantastic communicator. And I always wanted to learn how to do everything he did. So I consumed his talks and his books and his efforts to make it a more democratic in access, at least the information about how wrong we are to think that things are not that good. And I've been inspired by that a lot. Like, for example, I go into conversations with music lovers. I'm a music lover. I love opera, and people say music is dead. There's no one's making music anymore. And if you do a quick research, there's never been more operas written in 1 month in the history of time. Every year we outdo ourselves in terms of how many operas we write. Of course, they are not being represented, they are not at the theater, but they are written and they are published. So I guess I could say that I took from Hans Rosling this general attitude to first see things as improving of sorts. Um, of course, that's not my general attitude towards everything, but that said, it's really refreshing to see the world as something moving forward and not something moving backwards. Again, the whole premise of this video blog or video podcast or whatever that I'm doing is to share with you a baseline, a set of ideas that are the main thing about them is that some one thing didn't change. That we have a hiatus for time. We believed on the promise of industrialization and we took advantage from that, but that ended. So we're back to where we were 300 years ago in terms of getting the boar. Getting the boar is, again, our sole task. But again, from Hans Rosling, I pretty much enjoy having all this data that justifies how better we are as a global society. And I say this because I'm conscious. Sorry, I'm aware of some contradictions that I may have about this because I do believe that we are healthier. I do believe I've seen the data. We are healthier. We have less trauma, we have less wars, we have less murder, we have less poverty. And inequality is a whole discussion, but let's say that it's up to the jury is still out. And I don't know. I guess that that whole mindset of we are better also is a big contrast with the fact that we still need to get the bore every day. It's a contrast. Isn't it the end? Isn't it that we are gonna be better off, everyone? The other inspiration for this, let's say, explanation of baseline is one of the clips of Jordan Peterson. I think his lecture from 2017 when he talks about where is the human race today compared with where was it 130 years ago. And to put it in his words, life was hard. Most of people were living in poverty. Most of people. Poverty is the general rule. He says. Women were given birth until they died, and if not, they had like 11 children to take care of. It was hard to be healthy in every possible way. It was hard to be nourished. It was hard to find food. Of course, it was a really difficult time to get the bore. And it was already in the times of industrialization. So the promise was not that good, we could say, for many people. And it's not that different today in terms of what we need to get. The baseline is not the same. We are standing on 250 years of value creation. This process that Jordan Peterson describes in this particular clip, but I know it's a big part of what he shares and thinks true. The base for his way of thinking. Let's put it that way. This process is a long process of value added, and the whole humanity now stands on it. We are users of the value creation process that lasted for 250 years. So the baseline is not the same. It's not that hard to get food because there's so many industrial processes yielding an output so big that it's hard not to find food. It's not that easy to get pregnant today because we have so many technologies that were developed in order for us to control childbirth, to have Planned Parenthood. So the baseline is not the same at all. We are a lot better than we were. But the thing is, when you go to the basics, when you go to the basic attitude that we need in order to overcome our daily life, and that's it. We need to overcome our daily life. We need to go from today to tomorrow. Then we are oddly all leveled up. I like this example I've been finding on TikTok that's what is the income of a Belgium barista versus the income of a Belgium bank manager. Two incomes that should have real differences. And they are not really that different. The main reason being that taxes for the banker are higher in absolute terms, I mean, and percentual as well. But at the end of the day, they are not that far apart. They are not that far apart. I like it as an example of how we find ways to level our situation for the whole humanity. And on that particular regard, we are all back to square one 300 years ago. things are better. Things were really hard before. We are on top of a baseline that's mainly a value creation process that we didn't have any part of. This is a famous Louis C.K. joke as well. People complaining on airplanes that the plane is delayed. And the joke goes that, yeah, and so what? What happened afterwards? The plane was delayed, but afterwards, did you fly through the sky, sitting on a chair, experiencing the magnificence of human flight, a process you had absolutely zero things to put into, that you participated zero on? Did that happen? Because if it did, then maybe you should check again how you're feeling about it, right? So yeah, we are better off a lot, and we depend and we rely a lot on innovators and on people that are willing to go through excruciating pain to get their value to us, and they become rich because of it. Yeah, that's no questions asked. But they do have to get the boar as well. It's a different boar. It's a bigger boar, but there's nothing to say that your bank can go bust. There's nothing to say that Yahoo is not gonna be broke at some point, or even Microsoft or Apple for that matter. Everyone is searching for a boar. Of course, a CEO of a multinational has a different kind of board than me, of course. But no one has this solved. There's no more long term industrial solutions for us. There's no more gold clocks, golden watches. Let's say I was using it that wrong. Golden watches. There are no more golden watches at the end of your 40-year lives of service that you gave to the company. That's not longer there. And so yeah, life was really hard before, and we solved a lot of things. But I would like for you guys to tell me if you value this, if you take this for granted or not, because we didn't add to it, and we are adding little to it as a society. I mean, in percentile and in share terms, how many people are adding to it? It's not that many. And yeah, I recently realized that I say "and" a lot as a connector, and I'm trying to work on that. So yeah, that's that. Uh, we were really a crappy species, and we were doomed to suffering and having a shitty life, and somehow through lots of work and innovation in science and the proliferation of democratic values throughout the world, we've become a better species, and we are far better off. And and I think that doesn't mean anything right now. I think it doesn't matter that everything is seems to be solved. It doesn't matter. You still need to get the boar. Things were awful. Yeah. Things are not awful anymore. Yeah. You still need to get the boar. Okay, so that's the inspiration, or at least part of it. And I would like to hear your thoughts on it. If you like what we're sharing here and you like to share with me, come by. And I'll see you next time.